Clip.
Everything that guy just says, bullshit. Thank you.
So I got this friend called Dave. Dave is a pretty nice guy. I like to hang out with him, but now and again, ever so often, Dave comes up with these completely ridiculous stories. And whenever we investigate them, it turns out Dave is just full of shit. But apart from that, he's a nice guy. And one day he burst into my office saying, "MIE, MIE, I saw this really cool thing, so I got this friend called Fred and he got a new Camaro, and on his first ride through town with his new Camaro, this alien mothership comes up and beams him on board and flies away with Dave in his Camaro, and it's completely awesome." And I say, "Yeah, Dave, that's a nice story, but isn't that just another one of your flights of fancy?" And that's where you come in, Jason. You enter my office and say, "Well, well, well, MIE. Before you can doubt Dave's alien story, shouldn't you first prove that Fred doesn't own a Camaro?" That's the level of stupidity at which we've arrived now. Over 1 hour and 12 minutes, you do nothing but reiterate this stupid question or challenge, showing that you have just no awareness of what evidence is and what standards of evidence we should apply. And that's why you try to have this little pseudo-intellectual discussion about postmodernism and philosophy. Well, Jason, I hate to break it to you, but most historians, most of the time in their work, just don't care about philosophy. They just look at texts and apply the same mundane standards of evidence that we apply all the time in forensics, in our judicial system, in science, in all contexts of everyday life. Whenever we want to make sure that we don't believe impossible nonsense for no reasons, we apply these standards of evidence that forbid us from taking things on faith from ancient texts when they talk about miracle claims. It's that easy. And I pressed you on this point. I asked you explicitly whether you can give me any set of criteria that would tell us when a text is reliable enough to substantiate miracle claims. You never came back on this. Instead, you ask all these silly questions about my position on the historical Jesus, despite the fact that I made 4 or 5 videos talking about this, and I don't think anybody but you was left in the unclear about what I think about the historical Jesus. So I'm not going to reply to this because it's irrelevant and it's all just your silly little attempt to shirk off the burden of proof, and I won't let you. The onus is on you to prove that what you say is true, and it's not about the historical Jesus, it's about the proposition that Jesus is magic, just for the record. Um, few more words about Pliny. I'm not going to reply to this in person, I'm just going to put up a link in the description bar with the original text of Pliny translated into English. And everybody can look at this and compare this with what you said in your latest video about Pliny and the evidence he presents for early Christianity. And everybody who reads this, apart from you, will come to the conclusion that you are full of shit about this subject. There is just no congruence between what you say about what Pliny says and what Pliny actually says. Finally, you think that my pragmatism is sort of a problem, or that I made a mistake philosophically, or that you nailed me on something in one of my past videos. You sort of allude to this in your video, Jason. Just repeat any argument philosophically where you think I made a blunder, and I will come back to you. But I can promise you that it will be pretty.